A Texas homeowner uncovers some amazing connections between his house and the nearby state capitol. This used to be a restaurant. Now it's a home. We'll meet the man bringing back the history of a popular Philadelphia eatery. And a Florida couple's restoration digs up the history of some of the state's citrus pioneers. These stories and more in Walls Could Talk. Welcome back to If Walls Could Talk. Bill McMullen didn't know he would be expected to cook when he took an old restaurant and turned it back into a Philadelphia row house. But his friends now expect him to whip up gourmet meals. It's just one of the side effects of living in the 3 threes.
For half a century, this house on Smedley Street was known for its veal parmesan and chicken marsala. It was home to the 3 Threes, an elegant North Italian restaurant. The well-worn stairs speak to its popularity.
There have been times where we've been sitting around talking amongst ourselves and people will just walk in the front door and they'll say, "Isn't this still a restaurant?"
Bill McMullen knew his downtown Philadelphia neighbors would be watching carefully as he turned the restaurant into his home. It seemed that everyone had a story about the 3 Threes.
As you start asking questions of people, they all want to talk for an hour about when they met this person here or that they had their engagement party here, and it just seemed to take on a life of its own.
Bill even ate at the restaurant once before it closed, but he never thought he'd live here. It wasn't until 1997, 3 years after the 3 Threes went out of business, that he even considered renovating the place.
The biggest problem in trying to assess the property was to walk down into the basement and to see what was going on because there was no power in the whole building.
There were chairs and tables scattered everywhere, and unsavory surprises in the walk-in freezer.
Large pails of food and ice cream that had been around for 3 years waiting for someone to come along and start renovating the property. We found an awful lot of mess.
The kitchen was a disaster as well.
It was as though someone had been making lunch for some diners and had given up mid-sandwich preparation and gone home.
The kitchen appliances were beyond repair, but Bill wanted to keep a commercial kitchen feel.
And we moved as much stainless steel commercial-looking components in its place.
As Bill worked on the kitchen, he found history under his feet.
In the beginning of the renovation, we found that the foundation to the kitchen was insecure and needed to be replaced. And when we went down inside, we started pulling up boards and found a staircase that had been covered over by the floor of the kitchen. And when we got a chance to really follow the staircase through, we found that it was the original staircase to access the basement.
Bill had to redesign the kitchen into 2 levels so he could use the 1843 Philadelphia bluestone stairs, but it was worth the trouble.
I felt like we had quite a discovery because it appeared to have a lot more character than the staircase that was coming down from the dining room, which was falling apart.
And there were other discoveries underfoot. Vittorio Ginsberg, a restoration specialist working on the project, had a hunch he'd find red pine floors under the parquet.
It was a little risky to say that I wanted it pulled up because I didn't know how bad the nail holes would be on top of it, or if in fact the floor underneath was going to be what I thought it was going to be. But we pulled it up, and sure enough, it was the original red pine floor.
Some of the floor needed to be replaced. Red pine is no longer available in lumber yards, but they were able to track down red pine floorboards from old tobacco factories in the South. Bill has worked hard to combine the best of the old and new throughout the home, a modern bathroom downstairs and an old clawfoot bathtub upstairs.
Well, I understand that during the Prohibition era, this served as a speakeasy for the local residents. As a matter of fact, there's a story associated with the old bathtub that's in the 3rd floor bathroom at the time of renovation that was used to make the gin. They explained that it was in the 3rd floor, so they had time to, well, empty it out in case something was necessary in a hurry to be done.
The home is full of stories. Even the walls have tales to tell.
So here we are on the top floor of the house, and we found a number of bank checks and the bank statement from the Three Threes restaurant from January of 1934.
An electrician found the bank records behind the closet wall.
You can see they ran a healthy positive balance averaging $70 a day.
Although they occasionally ran a negative balance.
This is being literally in the red.
The bank records are a snapshot of the cost of doing business in 1934.
And we have a little phone bill, $21, and the gas bill, $36 for a gas-fired restaurant. And for cigarettes and matches for the vending machine, $18.
Bill even found a funny typo.
You can see the bank had a very liberal sense of spelling of people's names. And this month they're calling the restaurant the Three Trees.
The discoveries just keep coming. There's always more to do and more to share with this Philadelphia neighborhood.
If I can be proud of something here, it's the fact that this still has the sense of community to it. It's a joy to be here.
There's an interesting story about how the Three Threes got started. Legend has it that the first chef received some inheritance money from one of the people who died on the Titanic.